Welcome to the Solemn Vanguard channel. Today we are going over this deck skeleton for DI. So once again, you can totally change these lists if you want to. These aren't meant to be the most optimal perfect list ever in the world. These are just scratch lists to start from, to test against, to test with, learn about the clan, and then you can just use your own genius to improve them. Special thanks to Noman for this list in particular. So we have two Gilles. Gilles is not all that amazing. You know, when you look at a DI G-zone, the most important thing is Gusty. If you are using other strides, usually you're already in a not so great situation. So if you're a budget player or you don't own anything premium yet, but you do have your standard TI deck and you want to morph it into premium, then just get the Gusty and everything else is basically Flip Fodder and G-Guardians. Now, of course, when you're trying to perfect the list, then the other strides may come into play. So Gilles is just a stride that works without CB, that's why it's good. We have Batmalat, which is just a really good G-Guard. It charges for free, so if you had to ride up first and you want to get that soul ready, but. Then we have Dismal. Dismal is just a good card, especially in the DI matchup. I've covered this before on the channel, but, you know, go check that out then. Then we have Sharot. I don't actually think this stride is all that great, but, you know, it's just another option. Once you have Gusty going, it doesn't really matter. Then we have two of the Vincent G-Guardian. The Vincent G-Guardian just gets huge. So if you're in that grind game, you've already done a Gusty turn, you want to do your Blader Mouse next turn, Vincent will be huge. Then we have two Blader Mouse, speaking of the devil. That is your grind game card. Now, someone could say like, oh, you need 4 for the really long matchups. And I guess you could, but in general, 2 is enough. Blader Mouse is probably the second most used card in the G-zone of a DI player, apart from the G-Guardians. Because if Gusty didn't kill, Blader Mouse usually will. Dust is extremely overrated, but again, it's an option. Sometimes games do go to almost deck out, and just randomly pinging your opponent for deck out can be hilarious. However, it's not that necessary. To Balam, this will usually be the stride you go into if you're unable to Gusty for some reason. However, you could also run the premium collection stride for that instead. Then we have Dash Nasu or Dush Nasa, or you know, that G-Guard. It's basically a plot maker. It gets pretty big. You might as well have it in your arsenal. Then we have two Gusty, the stride the deck runs on, and a Cyclone. Again, if you're forced to call a vanilla trigger, which is usually your heal, to just try and win the game right now, which often happens, by the way, on a Blader Mouse turn, you call your heals and they're going to go back into deck anyway, then you might as well make it a tiny bit bigger. For the main deck, we have 4 NLK. Again, this is the key card for all of your combos. Then we have 3 Brufas, which is usually your other target on a Gusty turn. However, Sharot, we'll get to that. Then we have 3 Number of Terror. This card is just really good to combo off with Assassin. You know, Assassin can swing, Number of Terror will swing, the Assassin will go into Soul, and then you can call it back out again, it can swing again. If you hit a stand, Number of Terror stands, and then you can do that little combo-wombo with Assassin once again. Then we have 1 Sharot. Again, if you have the CB, you can do a nutty turn by choosing NLK and Sharot on your Gusty turn, and that just blows so many people out. But again, you do need the CB for that. If you don't have the CB, you will usually choose NLK and Brufas. Then we have 3 Bobo. Bobo basically makes it so you can't be damage denied as easily. Now, some could also play Huang in the main deck for that reason, but Bobo is still a really good thing to have, especially because it also soul charges at the same time and CCs, so you could use some CB. Then Bobo has suddenly have 2 extra CB, very, very major. Then we have 3 Rhodia, the best ride target essentially, because you will be charging so much that Rhodia just gets huge. And sometimes you can do your little NLK play, then rewrite into Rhodia, and now you're sitting on like a 23k base Vanguard. So Rhodia, very good. And we have 4 Emblem Master. One could argue this is actually the best ride target, I guess. If you were able to ride Dimension Creeper and Yellow Bolt and then call the Killer Tail, or rode a Yellow Bolt and call it Dimension Creeper. Now you ride your Emblem Master, CB1, and you suddenly have a stacked soul with like the best cards you want in your soul. Then we have 4 Dimension Creeper. Again, this is just extending. You're charging and you're blasting out and you're charging even more. Creeper is very important. So if you only have the standard deck, at least buy the G Creeper, because it will almost always be major for your deck. Then we have 4 Yellow Bolt, your best ride target if you're on grade 1, because this will let you draw. It can also charge as an attacker, so that can be very relevant. Then we have 4 Killer Tail. This is the CC engine in the deck. It also lets you reuse Creeper every turn. So sometimes you can ride Creeper, ride Emblem Master over Creeper, Creeper out of Soul, charge 2, use Killer Tail, put the Creeper back in, blast it out again, and charge 2 again. So Creeper can be reused together with Killer Tail. Killer Tail is an amazing grade 1. Then we have 4 of the Stand Cat. This card is unfair because it charges, it CCs, It thins your deck for more pieces. It's just an amazing card. Then we have 1 Assassin. This is the most important part of the combo together with NLK. Then we have 4 Draw PG. Again, Draw PGs are just good. Also, if this deck gets rushed too hard early and you don't have the pieces to fill a field, your combo very often falls apart. So hitting a draw sometimes can be very good. Then we have 4 heals. Once again, you don't want to die. And 4 of the new Premium Collection crit, which will let you stride more easily. Now you could argue, well, the other crit goes to Soul, but the thing is that's usually too late because then your field actually isn't full and so now you're not reaching your combo. Beyond that, you never want to be forced to stride with a number of terror because that's basically your best rearguard. So having that as a little cushion is definitely very good. So that was the DI list post Premium Collection 2020. Again, you could be running that new stride as well in here. I probably would cut the Sharot for it. Like this video if you liked, subscribe to this channel and I will see you soon. Ciao.